Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So in this video I am building a cute little house that I've decided to call Craftsman Cottage. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house and it's I think like 54,000 simoleons I want to say. To be fair, I started off doing more of like a budget-friendly starter home. And then at one point I looked at how much money I'd already spent and realized this was not a budget-friendly house. So I decided to not really stick with the whole budget-friendly thing. So sorry about that. But yeah, so this is just a cute little cottage starter home style house, but it's not really priced that way. So, but yeah, so I wound up going with my favorite seasons, doors, and windows yet again because I can't seem to use any other doors and windows. They're just like, they're such a, I don't know, there's just something about them. They're very versatile and I like that they have a couple of different heights. Like they have some of the windows that are more counter height and then they have other windows that are a little bit taller. And I also like that they come in like a preset group of 3 and then they also have some that are individual. But they all look similar enough that like you don't really realize like, oh, this is, you know, a group of 3 individual windows versus the 3 windows that are all attached together. I don't know. I really like these windows and price-wise, they are pretty cheap. So especially because when I was first starting off doing this house, I was trying to keep it, you know, more in a budget and obviously that didn't last, but, they're just, I don't know, they were just good doors and windows. So now I am trying to work on the floor plan, which once again, I'm leaving the floor plan in. I don't know, it's not something I normally do, but it's interesting to see, especially because it's not, I don't know, I don't end up keeping the floor plan how I started off. So the one thing that I don't know, I'm not totally thrilled about with this house is that the dining room table is far away from the kitchen. And normally I try to keep my dining room table a little bit closer, but there wasn't a good spot for it if I wanted to be able to have a wall-mounted TV, which that is always something that I have a problem with whenever I'm doing floor plans, is I always factor in where bedrooms should go and kitchens, and then the living room is just sort of like whatever is left. And then so a lot of times my living rooms end up being kind of a strange shape, or there isn't a good spot for like a wall-mounted TV, which I know you could just not have a wall-mounted TV, you could just have a regular TV instead. But I like the look of the wall-mounted ones a little bit more. And a lot of the, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the cabinets and things that we have for the tabletop TVs aren't great looking. I don't know, I prefer the look of the wall-mounted, period. But yeah, so unfortunately my living rooms are usually a bit more of an afterthought. So in this case, I decided to make it more of a priority, I guess. But then as a result, my dining room is far away from the kitchen. So, you know, you just can't win everything. So yeah, so this is the kitchen. I decided to use my favorite cabinets, the Parenthood cabinets. I feel like I used the same cabinets and the same doors and windows in like all of my builds. I did go with something a little different. I've done this before, but I haven't done it in a while, but I used the teal set of appliances from Parenthood as well. And then to kind of, I guess, balance out all of the like teal and sky blue colors, I decided to have like an orange accent color throughout. I was really trying to get those orange curtains to work over that window and they just wouldn't fit. So there's not a ton of orange, but there's a little pops of orange here and there throughout. So, cause I don't know, I think orange and that blue kind of go nice together. I don't know, there's something about it that's very like summery and I don't know, citrusy looking. Like I said, I think in last week's video, I'm like really just over this like gross gray winter weather stuff. So anything that's a little bit warmer and sunnier looking, I am all about right now. So moving on to the living room, I used the Parenthood fireplace, which a lot of times, I don't know, I forget to use fireplaces, but I wanted to make sure I use a fireplace in this house. And then I discovered that teal bluish green swatch of the Parenthood couch doesn't have a matching love seat that matches it. And that is something that really drives me crazy with The Sims 4. Like, if you're going to have a living room set, why would you not have all of the swatches matching each other? Like, there are other swatches of that couch that have a matching love seat. So I don't understand why you wouldn't just make them all the same, especially because we don't have the option to change colors ourselves. Like, we don't have a color wheel or anything, so it's like, please just give us matching sets. Like, what was the point of that? Because, like, I can basically, if I'm going to have a love seat, I can never use that couch then. So I just said, forget this, and I went with a base game couch that I'm actually not a huge fan of stylistically. I think it's very boxy looking and awkward, but there are tons of color choices on it, so it's a little bit more versatile, and it actually has a matching love seat, and I believe also a matching chair, although I didn't use it here. So the main, like, living room and dining room area, which I did kind of open floor plan, has, again, a lot of, this house has a lot of blue in it, just as a warning. But yeah, it has a lot of blue and then like that medium brown color with like black accents throughout. It's not a color scheme that I use very much actually, but I really liked it. And then it just so happened that that rug from, I believe, the Backyard Stuff Pack has matching colors that match that. So I was like, perfect, this works well. But yeah, and then of course, you know, bathrooms, just like a basic bathroom. I did use one of the Parenthood wallpapers. I used a lot of Parenthood actually in this build. It's just a good pack. There's just no getting around it. Parenthood has really good, like, I don't know, buy items in it, and also has really good build mode items. Like Parenthood and Seasons and Cats and Dogs. Like, and those are definitely the ones that I've used the most in this build, and I tend to use those the most just in general, I think, because they have a lot of good, like not modern looking items in them. Not that I have anything against modern items, I just prefer to not build with a lot of them. Although it is funny because whenever I go to upload builds on the gallery, I always look to see like what the most popular trending hashtags are, and like Cats and Dogs and Seasons are never up there, and I'm like, really? People are just like missing out. Like, I don't understand that. Like, Get Famous. No, actually, no. Get Famous isn't always up there. It was when it first came out. But like, Get Together and Get to Work are usually up there, along with like Spa Day is usually up there because I think a lot of people like the really modern wallpapers and stuff that came with that. And for some builds, I really like it. Like for community lots, I think it's really nice. Or for bathrooms, I use Spa Day stuff actually a good amount in my bathrooms. But in general, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of doing like modern builds because, in all honesty, there's not that many modern houses around me in real life. So it's not something I'm really ever exposed to very much. And so this is just, it's more familiar to me. And I think people are just sort of naturally drawn to what's familiar. So this is the kids' bedroom. It's kind of a small room, you know, there's definitely only enough space for like one bed in there. I mean, I guess you could probably fit in a second bed, but you'd have to like get rid of like toys and stuff. And again, I went with a blue color scheme in here. So I used the dog toy from Cats and Dogs, which that is something else that is a little strange to me in The Sims 4, that they chose to make stuffed animals like these giant things. Like, I don't understand that, because in real life, how many people have giant stuffed animals like that? Like, you might have one, maybe, but most of your stuffed animals are usually going to be like smaller things that you would like sit on your bed, you know? Like, I don't know. It's very strange to me. So I love The Sims 4 a lot, but then some of the decisions that they made in development, they're just real head scratchers. Like, I don't understand all the oversized objects at all. But yeah. Oh, I did use a little bit of Get Famous, actually. A couple of the wall hangings in the living room, like the one that's above the bookcase and the one that's above the stereo, those are both from Get Famous. Which, yeah. Again, like, that's another kind of an interesting pack, because I feel like there are some things in it that are like very usable, like some of the art. And then there are other things in it that are just like, when am I going to use like this super elaborate gold toilet? You know, like that's such a very limited thing. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's just how I like to play, but I tend to not play in like huge, super elaborate mansions. Like I prefer to play in houses that look more realistic and, in all honesty, are a little easier to play in. Like if a house is too big, I lose my Sims. Like I'm not afraid to admit it. Sometimes I'll look around and be like, wait a second. There should be 3 of you here. Why am I only seeing 2 Sims? Where did one of them go? So I don't know. I try to make my houses like cute and stylish, but also playable. That's also why I tend to not use, like I use Moveobjects, but I tend to only use it for like decorations. Like obviously landscaping, you kind of have to use Moveobjects. Like when I did the Moveobjects build, that was probably the hardest part of it, was doing the landscaping, because for some reason they've given some of these plants like huge footprints. It's like, okay, well these actually need to go a little bit closer together. Or like even doing like what I'm doing now, where I'm putting the smaller flowers underneath the bushes to kind of fill in the empty space. A lot of times you can't really do that without Moveobjects turned on. But I almost never use it for things like artificially creating lounge chairs out of like a chair and a footstool or things like that. But yeah, so this is the Craftsman Cottage. It's currently available for download on the Sims 4 gallery. As always, no custom content and just a tiny bit of Moveobjects here and there. But yeah, you can find it on the gallery under my origin ID, which is Mrs. Tomato 1018, or through the hashtag Mrs. Tomato 1018. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you can do so down below. I put up new videos every Tuesday. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!